Morning, welcome to Catex TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, August 20th, 2015. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to Catex TV. The two typhoons that are moving across the Pacific that we mentioned yesterday, Atsani and Goni, are still continuing to move across the Pacific, except that Typhoon Atsani has achieved super-typhoon status. It is now a Category 5 hurricane, which means it has consistent winds of 160 miles per hour. It's about 1,000 miles to the east of Typhoon Goni, behind it, as the two hurricanes are moving in a westerly direction. Goni traveled between Guam and the northern Mariana Islands 2 days ago, causing flash flood warnings after 10 inches of rain fell. It's now heading toward Taiwan. It has sustained winds of about 125 miles per hour. Atsani, on the other hand, is packing very strong winds and is moving right now toward the Mariana Islands. Both storms are expected to either impact directly Taiwan, which is still recovering from super typhoon Pseudolor, or brush by it fairly closely. It's expected that Typhoon Atsani might in fact hit the southern islands of Japan. It's not known for a couple of more days as to what's going to happen. Meanwhile, in North America, people have their eye on Tropical Storm Danny, which is still located about 1,200 miles east of the Windward Islands. It's in the eastern Atlantic as of 5 a.m. this morning. It only has maximum sustained winds of about 50 miles per hour. It does have higher gusts. It's expected to strengthen and become a hurricane, possibly as early as tomorrow. It's not going to be until Monday or Tuesday when Danny reaches the Lesser Antilles, and course projections that we've seen have it on track for Puerto Rico. And then, of course, everybody begins to look at the northward curve or turn that tropical storms and hurricanes coming from Africa and moving through the Caribbean normally embark upon, which bring it up the East Coast. South Korea fired dozens of shells Thursday at North Korea after North Korea shot a single rocket at South Korea on the world's most heavily armed border. The North was backing up a threat earlier to attack South Korean border loudspeakers that, after a lull of 11 years, have started broadcasting propaganda, anti-North Korean rhetoric. Authoritarian North Korea has also restarted its own propaganda broadcasters. It's extremely sensitive to any criticism of the government run by Kim Jong-un, whose family has ruled since the North was founded in 1948. Of course, nobody lives along the demilitarized zone, so it's unlikely that any North Korean citizen would hear the propaganda. AM Best has placed Nisei Dowa Insurance of China and Hyundai Insurance China under review with negative implications as a result of expected losses from the Tianjin port explosions. Both companies are insurance subsidiaries of Toyota and Hyundai, respectively, the car makers. Both companies also have a current financial strength rating of A-. AM Best said it expected the two companies to each experience, quote, sizable gross losses due to their exposure of both Toyota and Hyundai Motors, respectively. Toyota is unfortunately possessed with the largest production base it has in China, located right in Tianjin, and it's apparent from sources now that Hyundai Motor Company had around 4,000 Hyundai and Kia vehicles at the port, all of which are expected to have been reported as destroyed. The currency of Kazakhstan, the teng, or tenge, has plunged in value by over 20% against the dollar after the government decided to move it to a free float. The stock exchange in Kazakhstan said the tenge was trading at over 250 to the dollar in the afternoon today, after closing at 197 to the dollar last night. The collapse follows a fall in the price of oil, which is the main export of Kazakhstan, and drops in value of the currencies of the country's two main trading partners, Russia and China. So obviously the Kazakhs did not want to have their currency artificially overvalued when their trading partners were trading with them at much lower prices. 3 firefighters in Washington State in northwestern U.S. Were killed when a wildfire switched back on them and they were in a vehicle. According to a fire chief of the county up there, it was a hell of a storm up here. The fire was racing and the winds were blowing in every direction, and then they would shift. They unfortunately shifted and the firefighters were trapped. Two planes carrying civilian parachutists rehearsing for an air show collided in midair over Slovakia, killing 7 people earlier today. Between 20 and 40 people are on board the two planes. Witnesses reported seeing some of them jump from the disabled planes even with their parachutes open. The crash happened near the town of Ilava, about 90 miles north of the Slovak capital Bratislava. According to reports, some of the parachutists did survive by jumping from one of the planes just before the collision. And here's an interesting story. Apparently yesterday, down in Harford County, Maryland, a huge helium-filled airship floated into the air to an altitude of about 10,000 feet, where it was permanently fastened by strong wires to concrete pads 4 miles apart. So this is going to be a permanent station. It's a helium-fueled airship. It's part of the Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System. That's a mouthful. But what this airship will do, it's one of 2 now on the East Coast. It's continuously scanning 360 degrees from upstate New York to North Carolina and as far west as central Ohio. The other airship that's up there carries precision radar to help the military on the ground pinpoint targets. Neither permanent balloon carries weapons, but incoming enemy cruise missiles would be destroyed by weapons launched from the ground, the air, or the sea, the targets of which would be identified by these permanent stations floating at 10,000 feet. Interesting. Just in case you're driving down I-95 and see something like that, that's what it is. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.